U.S. President Donald Trump said that Canada will have to pay $61 billion to be part of his Golden Dome space-based missile defense plan but would pay nothing if it becomes the 51st state of the United States, a message he claimed to have told Canada himself. Trump wrote in a Truth Social post, "I told Canada, which very much wants to be part of our fabulous Golden Dome system, that it will cost $61 billion if they remain a separate, but unequal, nation, but will cost $0 if they become our cherished 51st state." He added, "They are considering the offer." However, the Prime Minister Carney's office did not confirm it had received such an offer from Trump. The social media post came hours after King Charles III delivered the speech from the throne in Canada's Parliament, which particularly focused on asserting Canada's sovereignty and included plans for bolstering national defense. Recently, Trump unveiled his plans for the estimated $175 billion Golden Dome system and said Canada wants to be involved but would have to pay their fair share. However, it seems that Canada is more willing to join Europe's defense system plan. King's throne speech confirmed Canada's plan to join the European Union's Rearm Europe defense plan that aims to rapidly increase military arms production in a bid to move away from U.S. reliance. What is the reaction of Prime Minster Mark Carney to Trump's claim? Prime Minister Carney has been clear at every opportunity, including in his conversations with President Trump, that Canada is an independent and sovereign nation, and it will remain so. It is true that Prime Minister Mark Carney confirmed his government was talking to the Trump administration about the Golden Dome, but stressed it was among several options Canada was looking at in securing defense partnerships with its allies. Carney did not say how much his government would be willing to spend as part of a Golden Dome partnership. Carney has repeatedly said Canada will never become part of the U.S., including in his sit-down with Trump at the White House earlier this month. He said he reaffirmed Canada's independence to Trump in their private meetings as well. Trump had somewhat toned down his 51st state rhetoric since Carney became Prime Minister in March, but still, he insisted in the Oval Office with Carney that the offer would always stand. What did King Charles III say in his speech about Canada's sovereignty? King Charles III said, as the anthem reminds us, "The true North is indeed strong and free," which received a thunderous and sustained round of applause in the chamber. Carney has said the decision to invite the King to deliver the throne speech the first time Canada's sovereign has done so in nearly 50 years reflected the crisis Canada finds itself in due to Trump's attacks on its sovereignty and economy. What is the European Union's new defense plan, which Canada is interested in joining? Canada will join the European Union's new defense plan that aims to rapidly increase military arms production in a bid to move away from U.S. reliance, King's throne speech confirmed. The move to join Rearm Europe was announced by King Charles III as he read the speech from the throne in Parliament, during a section on the government's plans for national defense and security. The King said, "The government will protect Canada's sovereignty by rebuilding, rearming, and reinvesting in the Canadian Armed Forces. It will boost Canada's defense industry by joining Rearm Europe, to invest in transatlantic security with Canada's European partners. It will invest to strengthen its presence in the North, which is an integral part of Canada, as this region faces new threats." The Rearm Europe plan, announced by the EU in March this year, would earmark up to the equivalent of $1.25 trillion Canadian dollars for defense over 5 years. It includes a loan program worth about $235 billion called Security Action for Europe, which would allow countries to work with others outside the European Union to jointly buy or build arms. In a white paper released in March outlining the EU's approach to defense industries, the European Union said that its cooperation with Canada has intensified and should be further enhanced, including on respective initiatives to boost defense industry production. The federal government of Canada has engaged in discussions with Europe regarding a more profound security partnership for more than a year. Prime Minister Mark Carney visited Europe both prior to and following the election to confer with European leaders, with the defense partnership being one of the subjects addressed. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told Carney during their meeting in Rome earlier this month that "we would love to work together with you on a security and defense partnership." The Rearm Europe plan was also inspired by Trump's repeated threats to pull the U.S. out of NATO unless European partners pay more for defense. Prime Minister Carney also said his government would focus on a made-in-Canada defense procurement strategy that prioritizes domestic production alongside allied partnerships. Recently, Carney said that while Canada will look to partner with the U.S. on defense where it can make sense, including Trump's Golden Dome concept for a space-based missile defense system. However, his government is also looking at other options among allies. You will see a very different set of partnerships, security and economic, going forward, and specifically mentioned the Rearm Europe negotiations. Carney told his Liberal caucus that the Liberal government will fight to ensure that Canadians get the best relationship possible with the United States, and we will take the time to do so. At the same time, we will strengthen our partnerships with reliable allies. Canada has what the world needs, and we will defend the values that the world respects. What is the Golden Dome defense system announced by Trump? Recently, United States President Donald Trump announced that he has selected a $175 billion design for the multi-layered Golden Dome missile defense program aimed at countering aerial threats even if they are launched from space. As part of the project, the U.S. would deploy missile interceptors in space to shield against ballistic and hypersonic threats. Trump announced $25 billion initial funding for the project that will cost $175 billion and be completed by the end of his current term in 2029. Trump said, once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world, and even if they are launched from space. This is very important for the success and even survival of our country. Trump added, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. Trump also said, Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. Trump said the Golden Dome was made to take down hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles, adding that the program would have space-based interceptors and sensors. Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth, speaking alongside Trump, said the system is aimed at protecting the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. Trump said existing defense capabilities will be used in the construction of the project, and predicted the total cost would be about $175 billion. This kind of space-based defense system was first envisaged by Ronald Reagan, the Republican U.S. president from 1981 to 1989. Amidst the Cold War, Reagan proposed a barrier to nuclear weapons that included space-based technology, as part of his Strategic Defense Initiative, or Star Wars project. Trump said, we will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland. What is the reaction of the opposition leader in Canada? Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre told reporters after the speech that Canada has been at the center of a centuries-old debate between the Crown and the United States, and that Tuesday's ceremony with the King's participation reinforced the British traditions of our parliamentary democracy. He said, I think it's important that the world recognizes that we have those ancient traditions and that the Americans recognize that we are an independent and free country that will make its own decisions. Thank you for tuning in, and I encourage you to subscribe to our channel for fresh content on crucial global matters. Additionally, please like the video and share your insights on the topic in the comments section below. Have a nice day.